What's up, everybody? Neil McDevitt here, and in this video we are talking about the community-based business model and why I think this is the business model of the future. And we're also going to cover why I think the high-ticket coaching business model is a model of the past and is going to be imminently dying or becoming obsolete as a business model, and pretty much going extinct. So we're going to be covering why the community-based business is the best path, if not the only path forward for online entrepreneurs providing these types of services. And we're also going to address the arguments that others have made against the community business model. And I'm going to share my humble and logical opinion as to why I think these people are simply incorrect. And this is coming from somebody who used to think the community-based business model was a terrible idea. I used to think people were much better off starting a high-ticket coaching or consulting program so that they could cash flow much quicker and then build from there. And since then, I've actually shut down my own high-ticket coaching program, and now I'm going all in on the community-based business model. So obviously, my opinions have massively changed, and I want to cover as to why in this video today. So jumping into the first argument, while yes, high-ticket products such as consulting and premium coaching do tend to cash flow a bit quicker, meaning from inception of the business to actually collecting cash in the bank, it is quicker, and usually it is a bit more cash that you get up front a bit quicker, whenever compared to a community business in the early stages of the business. While this is true, coaching businesses or high-ticket consulting businesses are historically unstable businesses and very unexitable, meaning it's very hard to leverage yourself out of the business completely and build an actual asset that you own and not a high-paying job that you're always attached to. You're directly attached to the amount of sales that the business makes. People are usually always attached in some way, shape, or form to either the marketing, the operations, or the decision-making of a high-ticket consulting business or a high-ticket coaching business. They rarely ever become an actual asset that cash flows without you. Alex Hormozi is a rare case of somebody who has levered himself out of the ops and sold his info business or his coaching or consulting business. But if we look at it, Gym Launch was built upon a much different foundation than the majority of coaching businesses that are being built today. 95% of these businesses being built today are being built with the founder being the single point of failure of these businesses, meaning you're building literally a high-paying job and not an actual asset. And this is because largely these businesses are built on personal brands today. And if for some reason you become burnt out, you want to take a vacation, or just for some reason you can't post that week, you start to take a hit in the revenue of the business. The revenue starts to dip, hence the high-ticket roller coaster, or the infamous high-ticket roller coaster that everybody talks about in this space. So obviously there will be some people who are completely fine with this. There's going to be people who are fine with having a high-ticket roller coaster. There's going to be people who are fine working a high-paying job as long as they're working for themselves and not somebody else. Not everybody necessarily wants to build an asset or just an entity that cash flows without very much of their attention at all by hiring a CEO to run the company, and now you're just the chairman of the company. This isn't for everybody, and I'm not saying that it is, but this brings me to reason number 2. So even if you're completely fine with the fact that you're not building a real asset, and you're fine with the fact that your energy and time will always be directly attached to the sales or the revenue of the company in some way, shape, or form, there is another emerging variable that we can cover, and we've never had this before in the history of humanity. And this is artificial intelligence, which is making wisdom and expertise near free for everybody. This is something that I've covered in previous videos on this YouTube channel, talking about venture capitalist Vinod Khoslaw's insights and predictions of the near future. And in fact, this is something we're already seeing with artificial intelligence. If I want to learn any specific subject, or I need consulting on any subject, I can just go to this hyper intelligent entity, have a conversation with it, and it'll consult me on how to solve my specific problem. We already see this in healthcare. We already see this in education across pretty much every single domain. And as these models get better and as they become more reliable and have better reasoning and judgment capabilities, we will just see the high ticket coaching industry kind of fizzling off altogether. And I actually have some more arguments that I'm going to be diving into later in the slides to have some more reasons for that. So currently ChatGPT 4, which is one of the better large language models or the better AIs that we have today on the market, one could compare that to being as smart as a very smart cat. So while yes, it does have a very wide amount of information, and all of the books written by humans, all human-made books, are just a very small subset of training data for this large language model, it is still quite dumb compared to humans, being that it's only as smart as a very smart cat. But if we look at the parameter size from GPT-3 to GPT-4, there's a massive jump. And GPT-4 to GPT-5 is supposed to have an equal jump to that. And even furthermore, on Lex Friedman's podcast, Sam Altman said ChatGPT-5 is going to be as smart humans, and it's going to have the same jump from GPT-4 to GPT-5 as ChatGPT-3 did to ChatGPT-4, meaning it's going to be very, very intelligent. It's not going to be just a smart cat anymore. It's going to actually be very reliable. It's going to have very good reasoning capabilities and very good judgment, meaning it's actually going to be able to consult people like a very smart human, which the majority of consultants out there, one could argue, aren't nearly as smart as these, as a very smart human. And even furthermore, they already have the information. All human written books are already stored on these models. Now we just need the models to be very reliable and intelligent and intuitive at bringing that information to surface, distilling it into a very digestible format, and actually consulting individuals on a one-on-one basis, which they can do now, but they're not amazing at yet, but they will be very, very soon. In fact, ChatGPT 5 is coming out 2024 this year. So, wisdom is currently rare, but it is becoming more and more so abundant and free. So I want you to ask yourself, in a business model where the moat and intrinsic value of the business is based off of the ability to buy somebody else's experience to save time for yourself, what happens when we all have access to the best information across all subjects for basically free? The intrinsic value of a business is even with the value the market attaches to it. Meaning, if consulting and expertise is scarce, it will be priced accordingly. When it is abundant, it'll be priced accordingly. The market dictates the price, or depicts the price, right? Which forces all high-ticket consulting to become low-ticket as artificial intelligence improves. And the same thing is true for agency services. The skills of marketing, design, programming all become abundant and near free, putting an end to the business models altogether. There's no reason to buy any type of high-ticket services whenever you can just go to any artificial intelligence program or software, tell it what you want, communicate with it like an actual human, and it outputs exactly what you want right then. What these agency models are going to look like is an actual software where you just talk with it. And the same thing for high-ticket consulting. It's going to be a software that is, we will all have our own little Elon Musks in our pocket. And if we have any advice that we need, or we want any wisdom about any specific topic, it'll be as smart as the smartest human in every single topic. And it'll be able to distill the answer down in the best format for us to actually use for ourselves. And this is something that we're already seeing evidence of. And here's a quick little supply and demand graph just to kind of remind you of how that works. So what I am saying is that in a community-based business, the intrinsic value doesn't come from the fact that there are consultants in the business. It doesn't come from the fact that there's expertise or time that you can save by borrowing somebody else's wisdom. The intrinsic value in a community-based business is the fact that there's other humans that all have human experiences. Whether it's around cooking, whether it's around just business owners being business owners and talking about their business owner problems. A good example of this being Sam Parr's Hampton. If you know the My First Million podcast, Sam Parr's Hampton is a fantastic example of a community business. And the majority of people building community businesses today do it completely wrong. They attach the value of the business to something outside of the actual intrinsic value of the humans in the community itself. They attach the value to the business to some skill or consulting or expertise still, which this is not a very strong foundational way to build your business, because that'll become obsolete as these models become more intelligent. Really, what you need to build your community business upon is the fact that there's other humans in there with their own subjective human-like experiences that all have emotions, and we can all relate with each other. And as the ratio of humans to artificial intelligence robots skews more towards robots, people are going to find other human contact and relating with other humans more and more scarce, making this more and more valuable in the future. So we've already jumped into some of the downsides to high-ticket coaching, such as the model being worse than how everybody makes it appear online, because everybody's always flexing their fancy lifestyles online and all of the stuff that they are wasting their money on. And yes, while it is cool and it is great that people are living their lives, they're really just doing this to sell you their stuff so that they can keep buying stuff and write it off on taxes. And if you're one of those people, I mean, that's good for you. I was going to be one of those people too, and then I started to learn these things about like artificial intelligence and how it's going to change the world. And I was like, okay, well, I'm playing a game that's coming to an end, so I need to change. But anyways, number two, the high-ticket coaching business is a dying market altogether due to the technological revolution that we're currently going through. So what high-ticket coaching will inevitably become isn't high-ticket consulting or high-ticket selling of expertise to save somebody else's time, but what it'll come down to is just, here's a community of other humans where you can share your human experiences with each other. And we're all aligned on a similar mission. We're all aligned on similar values. We all have a similar vision, and we're all very similar as people. That's why the community is valuable. So just to top things off, I thought it would be important to mention some of the benefits that come to having a community-based business, such as the monthly recurring revenue, which gives you very consistent sales without having to put in effort every single day, every single week, every single month. Let's say you have a community-based business with monthly recurring revenue and you actually have a valuable product and you decide to stop posting content for 2 months. Your product could keep growing without you. It could keep growing by itself just by the process of having a good product markets itself. The people within there, if you have hundreds or maybe even 1,000 people in your community and your community is actually thriving, they will start to market it for you. They'll tell other people about it. And even if you fall off the planet Earth and stop posting content, it's going to keep growing. This is the beauty of a business like this. Unlike the high-ticket coaching business or consulting business or any type of agency service where you always have to be searching for the next client after you sign one. As soon as you sign one client, it's time to hunt for the next one. With a monthly recurring revenue business like a community business, this is an asset that can grow without you, especially if you put the proper infrastructure in place and you build a very good product. And that is a very beautiful thing. And also what this does is it gives you something that is sellable, exitable, or maybe you don't want to exit it ever, but you can now leverage yourself out of the operations completely, be the chairman of the company, and now it's just an asset that cash flows for you, and you don't really have to spend all of your waking hours on it, or a majority of your waking hours on it like you would with any type of high-ticket consulting or agency services. Next is the enterprise value that comes with having monthly recurring revenue. If we look at Alex Hormozi's sale of Gym Launch, well, yes, Alex Hormozi is a fantastic entrepreneur, and I think his bet on school is probably one of his best business moves. The sale of Gym Launch, comparative to the revenue of the company, the amount of money that he received in the form of compensation for selling it was not the most impressive. And again, this isn't any deflationary or reductionistic, or this isn't anything against Alex Hormozi. This is just a simple objective fact. If we look at any type of company that was doing similar revenue and had monthly recurring revenue, the valuation would have been much, much, much greater, and he would have sold the company and received a much, much, much larger check. And then even furthermore, not just the enterprise value and not just the fact that you're going to have an asset that can grow without you, but that also there's concentrational risk that you are mitigating whenever you have a community-based business. Concentrational risk is the fact whenever you have a few clients that pay you a lot of money versus a lot of clients that pay you a little bit of money, right? If you have a few clients that pay a lot of money, the concentrational risk is obviously a lot higher. If something happens with one of those clients, maybe they can't pay 1 month, or they churn as a client, the concentration risk of that business is much, much higher. In a community-based business, if a client leaves or a member leaves, it's like not the biggest deal. Just keep growing the entity, make it valuable, and you'll be completely fine. But if 2 clients leave and you only have 4 clients in a very high ticket agency service, for example, or a growth partner offer, you're going to be hurting a little bit more. And that's not always fun. And the last one that makes the community business very awesome is the autonomy that it brings you. Because whenever you have the concentrational risk and you have the enterprise value and you actually have an asset that is growing without you, you now have a business that you can own, or an asset that you can own, and not a job that you're working in. Meaning you now have autonomy and you're actually achieving the goal as to why you got into entrepreneurship in the first place. So if you found this video valuable, or it gave you any type of new insights on how artificial intelligence is changing the world, and you're interested in learning more about how it could affect you as an individual or your business if you're an entrepreneur, just go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because on this channel, my mission is to help people and entrepreneurs navigate the coming fourth industrial revolution, which includes artificial intelligence and a few other technologies. If you want to learn more, check out my channel. And this technology this technological revolution is expected to be the largest of the 3 industrial revolutions we've had so far. And there's a lot of experts talking about this, like Peter Diamandis, Ray Kurzweil, Elon Musk, Sam Altman. Like pretty much everybody who's on the forefront of this technology sees just how impactful this is going to be. And after studying this stuff a lot, this stuff is going to change everything. Many businesses are going to go extinct. Many industries are going to go extinct. And there's going to be completely new ones that are born from nothing. Or not from nothing, but you know what I mean. So it is my goal to keep everybody updated on this. And I think, excuse me, I think this is the most important thing anybody could be paying attention to, and anybody could be trying to keep up with. Because like in any industrial revolution, the people who do understand the outcomes of it the best and can place their bets and place their chips in the outcomes of it the best will ultimately have the advantage and will ultimately become the most prosperous. And it is my mission, like I said, to provide you with that information so you can be on the positive side of this revolution and not on the negative side. That being said, I'm also building my own community for entrepreneurs where we all communicate to find the best path forward in the fourth industrial revolution. We talk about building community-based businesses. We talk about how to leverage artificial intelligence. We talk about how to build artificial intelligence employees. And we just overall talk about navigating the changes that are imminently coming. Right now, the community is currently free, but it won't be for long, so join while it is. The link to that is in the description below. That being said, I hope everybody found this video extremely valuable. I hope it gave you a lot of insights, and if you are in the high-ticket coaching or consulting space, hopefully you are already building a community. If not, I also left a link to the platform that I use to build communities, which is obviously School, linked in the description below. So if you would like to send a referral to your boy, I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video.